Hi friends, my name is Shreyans Mehta. I am teaching for banking, CAT, other entrance exams since 2007 and I am a graduate of IIM Calcutta. Today in this video we are going to study number series. Number series is a very important topic, especially for banking related examinations. Right, so you get around 5 marks of questions only from this particular topic. Right, that is why this topic is very significant. So what is a number series? Let's begin from the very basics, right? So as the name suggests, a number series would mean a series of numbers given to you. Now what is special about this series? That is what you have to figure out, right? So all these numbers will be connected to each other in some way. You just have to figure out what is the connection. Now let me give you a very basic example to start it off with, right? So if I tell you there is a number series which is 5, 6, 7, 8 and then there is a question mark. So what will follow is naturally the number 9, right? So if you see what is the series, 5 plus 1 6 plus 1 7 plus 1 8 plus 1 9, right? So this is a very basic example of number series. What we are trying to do in this kind of a question is figure out what is the trend, right, that is happening from one number to the other. So this is the basic idea of number series. It's a collection of numbers with a connection between them. We have to figure out the connection. That is the trick for solving these questions, right? So now naturally the question that arises is, why do they ask such questions in a bank examination? So if you understand it rightly, a bank PO exam primarily focuses on gauging your aptitude, and number series is a very good mechanism to gauge your aptitude. How does it do that? So if you see, there is some element of mathematics involved, like there is some addition, multiplication, division, but at the same time there is also a huge element of your logical ability involved, right? Your ability to see patterns, right? If I say 5, 7, 9 question mark, right? So I should have the ability to see and gauge what is the pattern between these numbers. So number series is somewhere at an overlap between mathematics and logical reasoning. So it's a good way for banks to be able to test your aptitude. That is the reason it is asked, and the weightage is around 5 marks, right? One thing that you should note here is that broadly, if you look at most papers, at least out of these 5 marks, 3 to 4 marks you should be able to score very easily, right? So you might come across 1 or 2 very challenging questions, but other than that, at least 3 questions should be solvable. So what we will be doing is we will be taking you to different types of series in today's class, beginning with very easy and slowly rising the difficulty and ending up with challenging questions, right? And if you are able to slowly understand how these challenging questions are going to be cracked, we will discuss how to do it. We will discuss the approach. So if you are able to crack these challenging questions, then you can be rest assured that when you actually attempt these questions in your exam, minimum 3 to 4 marks you will get out of 5 in your paper, right? So let's begin the class today. Now let's begin with the good news first. The good news is that there are only 2 different types of questions which are asked in a number series, right? So there is no third variety. Generally they ask you between these 2 types of questions. So what are these 2 types? So let's see question type 1. So if you look at the first type of question, it says find the missing number. So as the name suggests, there will be a number in that series which is missing. Like I told you, 5, 6, 7, 8 question mark, right? So this question mark indicates that a number is missing. So what are we going to do? We are going to figure out what should be the number in place of that question mark. This is find the missing number, right? So it's as simple as this. This is the first question type. The second question type, on the other hand, is about find out the wrong number in the series. So a very basic example for this would be similarly 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Now if you look at this, obviously you know it should be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 is the wrong number in this series. So you need to figure out what is the wrong number in the series. As simple as that. So let us begin with a few very basic examples of both types, and then we will evolve into different categories of series and stuff. But let's begin with the first question. Okay. So I want you to take 15 seconds and solve this on your own. Very easy question for you. So I am assuming that most of you would have been able to solve this question. Very simple. 2, 4, 6 dash 10. So it would be 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 8, 8 plus 2 10. So the number in the place of that question mark is 8, right? Now of course I am not saying this is the level of question that will be asked in the exam. This is very easy, but this is the base, right? So this is question type 1. Find the missing number in the series. I hope this is clear to you. Question type 1, right? Next, question type 2, right? Find out the wrong number in the series. Again, take 10-15 seconds and just solve this on your own. I am sure most of you would have been able to crack this problem. Very similar to the last one. 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 should have been 8, but what do we have? 9. And then instead of, if it would have been 8, then 8 plus 2 would have been 10. Is this clear? So what is the wrong number in this series? 9. Now I would want you to note a very important element in this kind of a problem, right? So if you look at this number 9, right, it creates two issues in the series. So let's look at the series. 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, right, and 9 plus 1 is 10. So because this 9 number is wrong, it is messing up the series in two places. 6 plus 3, instead of that it should have been 6 plus 2 and 8 plus 2, right? But it became 6 plus 3 and 9 plus 1. So whenever there is one wrong element in the series, two relations are spoiled, right? This is a very important point to note right at the beginning, because this is what makes the problem, this kind of a question type 2, slightly more tricky than the first one, which is find the missing number. That's a little more easier. It's a little more tricky, but we will figure out how to handle these questions as we go through this set of questions going ahead. So let's begin. Since you know by now what are the two types of questions, let me also focus on the fact that there are three different categories of series. Okay. Now if we are able to cover these three categories, and within each category we will solve both the types of question type 1 and question type 2, then broadly you have covered everything that is there to be covered in this topic. Three categories, and within each category question type 1 and question type 2. So what are these three different categories? So now we come to the three different categories of number series that can be asked to us, right? So what have we done thus far? Two question types: find the missing number and find the wrong number in the series. But what are the different types of series that can be asked? What are these different categories that you should know? The first category is an addition kind of series. So for addition or subtraction, right? So for example, if the question that we look at before, that we had asked, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So what was it? 2 plus 2, 4, plus 2, 6, plus 2, 8, plus 2, 10. So it was an addition kind of a series, right? So this is the first kind of series. The second kind of series that can be asked to us similarly is going to be multiplication or division. So an example of this would be 2, 4, 8, 16 question mark. So 2 into 2 4, 4 into 2 8, 8 into 2 16, 16 into 2 32. So now what are we doing? Multiplication at every step. So either we will do addition at every step or we will do multiplication at every step. So the second series is multiplication or division. What is the third type of series? So third type of series is very interesting. It is squares or cubes. So for example, if I give you a question 1, 4, 9, 16, question mark 36. So what does this mean? So 1 is 1 square, then we have 2 square which is 4, then we have 3 square which is 9, 4 square 16, 5 square 25, 6 square 36, 7 square 49. So that is a series: 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, 6 square. Or else I could do cube: 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube. So I would give you 1, 8, 27 and so on and so forth, right? So this is a squares or cubes type of series. So these are three kinds of series that we will broadly be dealing with: addition, subtraction, where there is addition, the link between every consecutive number is either addition or subtraction. Then multiplication, division, and squares and cubes. One point that I would like you guys to note here is that you need to learn the squares and cubes of some numbers. For example, you should at least minimum know the squares of numbers from 1 to 20, right? So So if somebody asks you what is 15 square, you should be able to directly say it's 225. You need not calculate, right? So you should know the squares from 1 to 20, and you should definitely know the cubes from 1 to 10. So if somebody says what is 7 cube, it has to be 343. You don't need to do 7 into 7 into 7, right? So this is something that you need to know, squares from 1 to 20 and cubes from 1 to 10. So let us recap what we have learned thus far. There are two types of questions. First is find the missing number. Second is find the wrong number in the series, right? And there are three different categories of series: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, squares and cubes, right? So within each of these categories, I can ask you any of the questions. I can either ask you find the missing number, or I can ask you find the wrong number in the series, right? So if we do these three series, and within each series, if we do both the question types, right? So if you have two question types in each series, and if you are able to solve all 6 of these, then broadly this chapter is over, right? You will be able to crack most of the problems in the exam. So what we will be doing now is we will be solving questions of each of these, all the 6 categories, right? And once that is clear, then this chapter will be over. So this slide basically gives us a wrap up of whatever we have learned thus far, the 3 types of series. Now one extra thing that that we talk about here is there is another thing called as combination. Now what do you mean by combination? Combination means there can be a series which has some multiplication and some addition along with it, or it has some square and some addition along with it. So we combine 2 of these elements and we make a series. Now what kind of series is this? What are the different examples? So we will be covering it in time, right? So after a few questions of basics that we solve, we will come to these kind of series also. We will do combination type series also. Okay. So let us begin directly now by jumping head on and start solving problems.